Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of, I'm going to name this channel Jack of All Trades. So, welcome back to Jack of All Trades. And today what we are working on is a 2008, I want to say. It's a Honda VTX 1300. We are going to be rebuilding the front forks. So if anybody out there, I'm sure there's probably plenty of videos, but my video is going to have me rebuilding these forks. Just put new seals in it and I'll be filling it up with fluid. So that's what today's video is going to be about. I will also be posting a video here pretty soon of my son's Honda 750, which one of the heads is there, the other one is under there because we finished it last night, and we honed out the new cylinders that he just bought. So that's part of this video as well. I'm still waiting on the parts for the C10. It's still sitting out there on the jack stands waiting. But hey, might as well work on something while we're waiting. I hate just sitting around not doing nothing. Today is muggy. Humidity, I swear I could probably take a knife right now and just cut it. So, alright guys, without further ado, let's get this video started. I finally got the bushings in. All balls. All balls. I've used these guys numerous times on different bikes and have had no problems. Cheap, works great, plus you get a sticker. So here's the seals, the actual seal, and the dust cover. So I ordered the bushing kit, which is weird because it came with a bunch of extra stuff. I don't understand why. It's got these O-rings, which I don't see anywhere on there that there was an O-ring when I took them apart. All these different ones, so I'm assuming it's just probably like a multi-kit. Did come with some new copper washers, which the only ones I know of. The hell I just dropped? I just dropped something. All right, it's lost forever. The only copper, because I mean it's got all kinds of stuff. It did come with new C-clips, so we'll use those. This has got to be a universal kit. It didn't say that on the website when I bought it, which was eBay. But the copper washers go for the screw on the bottom. And of course the clips up in here. So we're going to go ahead and reassemble this stuff. Get this back together. Meanwhile, my son's going to work on his cleaning the head on his bike. So more for that. Here we go. Alright guys, real quick, just before I start tearing these forks apart, they're pretty much the same concept across the board. You may have some slight variations, but it's basically seals, there's a retaining clip, there's the spring for the preload, then you have your oil for your dampening, which you have other components in there that help let the fluid slip through, but also, move this out the way, also dampen the ride. So you got your spring is for your preload, which kind of assists in the weight of the bike and you, and then you also have the fluid, like I said, that helps cushion the bumps as you hit bumps. But once you take this apart, you take that top cap off. You don't have to be like super afraid of it. It's gonna have a spring under it, but as long as you kind of keep your hand on it when you're starting to get towards the end of the threads, it's not like it's gonna blast your hand off, so don't be afraid of that. All else fails, keep your head away from the top of the damn fork, so if the springs come out, it's not going to hit you in the face. So let me adjust this light here a little bit. Okay, so it's a number 6, but I kind of want to get a different one, so I don't think I trust. I'm going to run a couple screws down through here on the bottom. I'm going to run a couple screws into this bench just to kind of hold this in place while I try to break this loose. Oops, it broke right loose. Now whether or not it's loose on the inside, I don't know. It might be just turning the tube, which is more than likely what's probably happening. No, she came loose. Well, I'll be a son of a gun. That was easier than I thought. So put it aside for the next one. So all I did was just put it back in the triple tree, clamp the top on it, and just broke it right loose. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that one real quick. Loose. I'm going to finish up this. So what I was able to do is just twist this top part, hold this with this like this over with my hand, and then just twist the bottom part until this came off. That way I didn't have to worry about turning and then move my hand and turning and then it popping in the middle of all that. So here's the tube I was talking about. It's like a spacer. It's just a plain old thin tube. If you ever want to lower the front end of your bike or raise the front of your bike, this is how you can do it. Longer or shorter tubes. And then there's the spring inside here, but I'm going to go ahead and, for some reason this doesn't, okay, there was a spacer on top. There was a washer sitting right on top of that. Here's your spring with all the nasty gooey oil. Now you'll see it looks kind of like a progressive spring. Its coils are tighter towards the bottom. Nasty. It's just a stupid tripod to cooperate. There we go. So as you see what I'm doing here, I'm just taking the screwdriver and I'm just turning it flat side, poke it in there, turn it right out. Alright, so this is a dust cover, dust seal. Keeps all the extra crap out. The actual seal is inside here. Now hopefully you can see this. Yeah. You'll see that little clip right in there. There you go. Alright, so that clip is actually what's holding this seal in place. So when you hit bumps and this comes all the way up, or if you do a wheelie, come all the way up, that's actually what holds that, keeps that seal from popping out of there. In other words, your front end will pretty much come right off. Now this isn't a very hard spring to get out. You'll find little grooves in it. Like right there's a groove you can get a screwdriver in. And you just get that screwdriver up in there and you start working your way around. There's multiple grooves. There you go. Now if your bike's been sitting out in the weather for years and years, these things will rust out, but this one's in good shape, so thankfully we can reuse this puppy. But you see those little grooves right there, that's usually where you can fit a little screwdriver in around it. They're not a very hard spring to get out. They're not very stiff, shall I say. Yeah, this spring, or this seal in here looks pretty rough. Hopefully you can see it. There's rust in there. There's like a little rubber spring that goes around for tension, and that's obviously has rusted out. So we need some more oil on this. Maybe whatever it'll do, it'll hold. Yeah, so it is turning. There it goes. So it's putting enough pressure on it I can turn it. So there is another tube in there that I have to take out. Coming out, I'll take it. Maybe once I get it out I can see what the hell. Okay, that's what I thought. So there's the other half of it. There's a spring down in there. I'm sorry, that's not a spring. What is that? So that's what the screw was screwing into, is this piece. Let's see what is in here. I rebuilt the shocks on my VTX 1800, but shit, that was like 6 years ago. I don't really remember everything that I did in it. And I know mine were different shocks as well. That's it. That's odd. So here's what was in the bottom. So there's a little bit of a spring. This bolts it down. What's odd to me is that there's nothing to hold this in place while you loosen it. On the Honda Shadows, I need to get a different pair of gloves on. On the Honda Shadows, there's actually like a nut or like a female, like an oversized Allen head down inside there, and you can just use that tool I have there to hold it while you loosen it. This one doesn't have that, which is odd. Let me get some gloves on. Hold on. This is the nasty part. So this is actually the dampener. That's what this is. It took me a second to remember what the hell this thing does. So this is the dampener. The fluid sits in there. And there's a little pinhole. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little pinhole there that helps relieve it. And this is also like a seal, a bushing. So you want to be careful with that. Unfortunately, you have to take all this apart just to replace the damn seals. Yeah, so that's odd. I wonder what kind of tool Honda makes for this. Because all I basically did was shove the head of that damn bolt inside there. Yeah. See, so that it was just luckily enough friction to I could turn it. See, it fits right in there. And the Hondas, there's actually a perfect spot for this thing right here to fit. So I was able to get that in there and cause enough friction to get this piece out, which is odd. Very odd. Whatever, I'll take it. Like they say, a win is a win. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna probably use my favorite purple power to clean out these shocks and everything. Clean everything off. Now there's a washer, just so in case y'all need a reference as to how this thing went back together if you forgot to take pictures. You got your seal, your main seal, and then there's a flat washer, and then you have two bushings here. You have this bushing and then this smaller bushing up in here. So right there together. And that's actually what you used when you're sliding this thing back. That's actually what you're using, is you're using this to pound up against that washer to get that out. So, get that puppy off of there. Seals off. this one off, you just need like a small little flathead. And just pry it open just ever so slightly. You don't want to do it too much. Matter of fact, this looks like this one could probably use replacing. Yeah. Alright, I think we're gonna have to buy some replacement parts for this one because it's pretty worn out. You might as well go ahead and replace them. And it's pretty easy to tell because of the color. It's got this copper color to it, but as you notice here on the back side, there's not a whole lot of copper color. There we go. So copper color, no copper color. So that tells me that this is probably at its end, and you can kind of see there where it's starting to fade. So might as well just go ahead and replace this. I don't think these are that much. The shock bushings. This one here looks like it's the same ordeal. I don't remember how many miles this bike has got on it. This one here is definitely worn out. So that kind of acts like a lubricant, or not a lubricant, but a smoother surface. So see, that's all worn out. So might as well go ahead and replace it. That explains why the color of this was so nasty. Okay, I don't know what happened. This camera's been acting stupid lately. In case I didn't get this. That bushing right there needs to go inside further. It's got a little spot it sits. So that's actually what guides the fork in and out. Inside that lower collar. It's going to be hard to show you. Right there. That lower collar right there is where it gets pressed into. Yeah, even the old ones don't really want to go in there too well. Put a little bit more WD-40 in there just for the seal. Some people like to tape over this while they slide the seal over, but this has got a nice little beveled edge on it, so I'm not worried about it. This is part numbers on here. Hopefully you can read the part number. It's 351082. There you go. 3510, and it actually shows you directions on here how it should go. Chrome tube on the top side. Yeah, it says chrome tube on the top side, which doesn't make any sense. So it just shows the two wipers and a single up top. Yeah, okay. So it's going to go the smaller the closed inside. See, this one's more open. So the closed inside, I'm assuming that's open because that bushing does kind of sit loose in there, or sit up of it. The lube. I always like watching it like wipe down all the liquid. Look at this. It scrapes that liquid. Now these here, the nice thing about these is you can use the old one. Kind of similar to what I just did. Take the old one and use that to smash that thing in.
Having trouble again?
No, you do.
Look at that. Big difference.
Oh, the tan?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get tan or what?
I didn't think I was getting darker.
Well, if you go outside, it happens.
Well, yeah, I know. But I just didn't think I was getting darker. Oh, it's because my friends at the gym said, you get darker? I was like, no. Friend I have.
Well, you start taking that head apart. Man, what happened to that? I had a PVC pipe that I used, cut it in half. I had a PVC pipe that was cut in half. Yeah, I can picture it sitting up here. Are they under the shed or something?
She might have been.
Yeah. Alright guys, so I just wanted to make this quick little shot of a quick correction. The clip that you just watched, I realized this after I did all this, that I forgot a small piece. So hopefully you watch this video all the way through before you finish your forks. So at the bottom of the fork, or I'm sorry, at the bottom of the main seal that you have, which would be this seal that sits right in here somewhere, there is a washer that goes underneath that sits right on top of this bushing, and it sits in the circumference of this opening right here. So you have this bushing here, and then you have a flat washer that goes on top of this bushing, and then you'll have your seal. So I just wanted to add that in there because I forgot after I did the first one. I set the thing down after I shut the camera off. I looked over on my bench and I saw him sitting there, and I was like, fuck. So I had to take it back apart, save the oil, and redo it. It wasn't that bad actually because I just put it all together, so seals weren't stuck, nothing like that was going on. So it was easy. I was a little afraid that this bushing was gonna push up against the seal and like slide past it or something, but I guess because everything was still kind of oiled down and you know, lubed, it came right up pretty easy. I just slid it a couple times and it came right out. So I just want to throw that in there, guys, so y'all don't make the same mistake I did. I kind of got in a little bit of a rush, which I typically try not to do. I try to take my time, but I was getting a little cocky with it. I mean, I've done this 100 times and I forgot. So everyone makes mistakes. Easy fix, no harm, no foul. But the shocks are back together, or forks, whatever you prefer to call them. They are both back together with brand new components and all the good stuff in them. So, and I did clean up the lowers. They were looking a little grimy, so I cleaned them up with some the green Scotch pad. But alright guys, well, any questions about this, I'm gonna throw them back on there. That's gonna be all done. So that part's finished. The only thing left is just change the engine oil and the rear final drive gear oil. I'm gonna change that out because it's been a while. Oh, and then I gotta hook up this little radio. It's cute. Little radio. It'll go right here on the handlebars. He did have those ones that mount up here. I got them right here. I put these on. Shit, I think I put these on a couple years ago. These dudes look kind of goofy because they sit like that. So, and honestly, I don't think these really work all that great. I don't think that's gonna work all that great. Been trying to convince this guy to let me bag this bike out for him and put some stereo on there, put a fairing on it if he wants a fairing, or if not, we could just go with like the what do you call it, Road King look. We just got the saddlebags and nice beach bars on there, and put some good sounding speakers on the lids of the hard bag. So, but we'll see.